Hey guys, welcome back. Or if you're new to the channel, please subscribe for all the latest and greatest Star Trek Picard content and other great TV sci-fi shows. So today we're talking about Bruce Maddox. Commander Bruce Maddox, who was first seen in the Next Generation Season 2 episode, A Measure of a Man. This guy's name has been dropped in every episode of Picard so far. So we're asking the question today, are we likely to see Commander Bruce Maddox appear in Star Trek Picard? Commander Bruce Maddox was a Starfleet cyberneticist and one of the most prominent researchers in that field in the late 24th century. He worked in the cybernetics division of the Daystrom Institute and in 2365 was the associate chair of robotics. Ever since learning about Data and Dr. Noonien Soong's work, Maddox was inspired to continue it. He dreamed of creating more androids to help Starfleet in dangerous situations. In 2365, Maddox earned Admiral Nakamura's support to disassemble and reverse engineer Lieutenant Commander Data in order to gain the final piece of knowledge he needed. Captain Picard challenged this position, stating that Data is arguably a sentient being and defined by most of Maddox's own criteria. Furthermore, Data currently represented an entire race, and duplicating him for the purposes of forced labour constituted slavery. Levois agreed with Picard's standpoint and ruled that Data was a sentient being with full rights under Federation law. Data nonetheless encouraged Maddox to continue his research. So for starters, I'm going to chop this into kind of two sections. The first section being from a writing or a storytelling perspective, having had his name dropped on multiple occasions throughout the first 3 episodes, and also the fact that he seems to be the goal by which our main characters are searching for. From a writing perspective, are we likely to see him show up? And the second part of this I'm going to delve into is, what is the actor Brian Brophy, who played Bruce Maddox back in 1988 or whatever it was, when this first episode screened? Is he still acting? Is he still around? Are we likely to see him reprise his role as Maddox? So let's get into it. So in Picard, we've had Jurati talk about Bruce Maddox in the first episode. We've had Picard talk about Maddox in the second episode when talking to the Admiral at Starfleet headquarters. And it now is pretty clear that now that they've got a ship and they've got Chris Rios on board, and that they've found out that Maddox is hanging out on this place called Free Cloud, which kind of seems like it might be some sort of gambling establishment. This is the first part of their mission, to find Bruce Maddox. So from a writing perspective, I think it would be very odd for the writers of this show to write Bruce Maddox into the first 3 episodes of the show, make it the main goal, and then for him to never appear in the series would be odd. They've set it up. There is a certain level of expectation in the show that if you're mentioning a character's name over and over and over again, to the point where you also got the main cast openly saying, this is our mission, we have to go find this character, it would be very, very odd from a storytelling and a script writing perspective for that not to pay off in a future episode. I think that would be very unsatisfying for the audience. I spoke to my wife, who works as a TV screenwriter, and asked for her insight.
I think my assumption as a writer, coming from writers' rooms, the search for Bruce Maddox is an essential plot point that they've set up in Picard. My assumption is that they're either going to succeed or they're going to fail and learn things about themselves along the way. So the goal itself may be a way for Picard to obviously have adventures, and it's going to be something that's either going to be concluded reasonably quickly or it's going to be eked out. My assumption would be that he would need to succeed for it to be satisfying for the audience. And what would it need to be successful? You'd need to see him on screen. I think as a writer, you would expect to have some sort of payoff. And the most satisfying payoff would be that they meet Bruce Maddox.
Now, the second question I'm asking is, what is Brian Brophy doing? Let's have a look at IMDb and see whether Brian Brophy is still around. Is he still acting? Are we likely to see him reprise his role as Bruce Maddox in this show? Well, looking at IMDb, it's clear that Brian Brophy is still around. He's kind of been an actor for a number of years since his first appearance in Next Generation, but it seems like he's still got his toe dipped in the acting pool a little bit. So it wouldn't be unreasonable to assume that the producers would call him and say, hey, we would like you to reprise your role as Bruce Maddox in this show. He's acted as recently as 2014. He's still around. He's still alive. He hasn't been hit by a bus. Over the years, he's done some convention appearances, appearing with fans and so forth, spoken about his role in the Star Trek episode that he appeared in. It's clearly one of the most popular Next Generation episodes that I think has been. I think even though it was such an early episode in the series, I reckon A Measure of a Man would have to go down as probably in the top 5 best Next Generation episodes of all time. I mean, it's a really well-written episode. The scene with Picard defending Data, saying, well, Starfleet was founded to seek out new life. Well, there it sits, that goes down in TV writing history, It's sort of like one of those courtroom scenes that are almost as iconic as the, you can't handle the truth line from Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men. It's a really well-written episode. It's a really well-written scene. And I think even though Bruce Maddox only appeared in one episode, he was referred to in other forthcoming episodes in Data's Day, where Data was writing a communication with Maddox. So he was mentioned in a couple of other episodes apart from his initial appearance in that Season 2 episode. I think as being iconic and as a groundbreaking moment in the early episodes of Next Generation as such a powerful episode, I think we got to see Maddox. We've set up so much background here to Dahj and Soji and the whole fractal neuronic cloning thing and Maddox being an initiator of that. I think if we didn't see him, it would be not only a shame, but it would also be very unsatisfying for fans who are watching this. I think there's a very good chance. I'm really hoping that Brian Brophy does reprise his role, because I think it would be a shame and it would be disappointing if they had to recast the role in another actor. There was a shot in one of the early Picard trailers where they had Picard in like a sort of a sick bay or a med bay talking to this old bloke with a kind of beard. And I thought, could this be Maddox? Clearly it wasn't the same actor. So I'm really hoping that if we do see Maddox, it is the actor, Brian Brophy, who originally played the role, considering how much of an iconic and impacting role that he had on the show. So let's see. We're almost 4 episodes in, and our characters know where he is on Freecloud, wherever Freecloud may be. So let's cross our collective fingers and hope that we do get to see Maddox pop up in Picard, and hopefully that is Brian Brophy. So what do you guys think? Do you reckon we'll see him in the next couple of episodes? Or do you think it's something they're going to eke out until Season 2 before we get to see this guy on screen? Drop a comment in the comment section. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video, and I'll see you guys next time.